When Cade Cunningham was drafted #1 in 2021, scouts called him a savant-like guard and a game-changer. Cade Cunningham with the basket, hooks on the run, hits it, count that baby, and a P. And then for 3 years, nothing. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. Injuries limited him to just 12 games in his second season. He spent year 3 on a historically bad Pistons team, a 28-game losing streak. A superstar free agent coach fired 1 season into a market-setting contract. Cade was putting up numbers that nobody cared about because Detroit was a punchline. So when people started throwing around MVP candidate this season, I get why you might be skeptical. We've seen this movie before. A young star on a bad team gets a few wins, and suddenly he's the next big thing. But the rest of the NBA isn't skeptical anymore. They're worried. Because what Cade is doing right now is the arrival of exactly the kind of player that's almost impossible to stop. Bucket there from the rookie Cunningham, with an emphatic finish and the foul. Ever since Cunningham went #1 overall in 2021, the signs were always there, especially in the lowest moments. Those moments certified him as something rare in this league, a real franchise changer. And look, Cade isn't a physical anomaly like Wemmy. He wasn't a viral mixtape prodigy stamped for superstardom at age 15 like Zion or Cooper Flag. The talent is obvious, sure, but it's the intangibles layered on top of that that separates him. The poise, the patience, the responsibility. That responsibility comes automatically when you're #1 pick. The hype, the weight, the hope of a franchise, the pressure of expectations, and usually a roster that isn't ready. You're asked to be the solution before the problem is even fully built. And Detroit, that was more than a rebuild. That was rock bottom. They say the truest measure of a person isn't revealed at the peak. It's revealed when you're flat on the floor, shaken up, wondering how much more you can take. That's the moment where people fold or stand back up. Cade Cunningham lived in the moment for 28 straight games. During the 23-24 season, the Pistons lost an NBA record 28 consecutive times. Night after night, Cade kept showing up. He didn't detach, he didn't check out, he didn't shrink from it. And you could see how much it weighed on him. After their 25th straight loss, Cunningham locked off the floor, fighting back tears. Detroit eventually finished 14-68, the worst season in franchise history. But that stretch built the foundation. What looked like a lost season became baby steps, then real progress, then something nobody expected this fast. Last season, the Pistons took their first real leap, 44 wins, their first playoff appearance since 2019, and a 6-game first-round fight with the New York Knicks. And instead of rushing the rebuild or cashing in for a shortcut star, Detroit stayed disciplined. They worked the margins. Duncan Robinson, a guy who can space the floor and knock down threes when defenses collapse on Cade. Caris LeVert, veteran ball handler who can create his own shot and take pressure off the star. Javonte Green, energy and defense off the bench. Smart additions, veteran voices, but still Cade's team that matters. Detroit didn't go chasing a second star who might clash with the guy they've been building around. They gave Cunningham the supporting cast he needed and let him cook. And now, there are no tears in Detroit. The Pistons sit in first place in the Eastern Conference. Only the defending champion Oklahoma City owned a better record in the entire league. Their 13-game winning streak from October 29th to November 24th tied a franchise record. And this is the latest point in a season Detroit has held the East's top spot since 2005. Coincidentally, the last time they reached the NBA Finals. This isn't a surprise anymore. It's confirmation. The Pistons' faith in Cade Cunningham has paid off. What the Pistons have in their 6'6" point guard is a player who checks every box. He can score 26.7 points per game. He can create 9.7 assists a night, second in the entire NBA behind only Nikola Jokic. He sees the floor early, delivers the ball to the right teammate at the right moment, makes fast and correct reads, commits defensively, and most importantly, gravitates toward the moments late in games when everything tightens and someone has to take control. 1:45 to play, 4-point game. Cunningham pulls 10 hits. Cade Cunningham mid-range. You can feel it on the court, and you can see it off the court too, especially in the locker room. Cade's unselfishness is real. He deflects praise, keeps himself on equal ground with his teammates, and because of that, the Pistons rally around him. These guys genuinely want to play for him. They believe in what he's building. As head coach J.B. Bickerstaff put it, he can eat without taking food off your plate. The roots of that growth, the leap from talented #1 pick to true franchise player, trace back to an unlikely place, the 23-24 season. A year so brutal it barely feels real. Essentially Cade's second season, after a fractured chin limited him to just 12 games the year before. Detroit lost 28 straight games, and somehow, in the middle of that darkness, Cade was a constant flicker of light. During that losing streak, he was often the best player on the floor, regardless of who was on the other bench. He dropped 43 points, then 41, scored 33 twice, put up 31 three times, and across those 28 losses, he still averaged nearly 8 assists per game. Everything around him was unstable. Coaching staff, front office, confidence. The weight of losing crushed the building. Monty Williams didn't survive it, fired after one season with 5 years and $65 million left on his deal. But Cade did, and it was the way he handled that season, the consistency, the leadership, the refusal to fold that put the Pistons on the path they're on now. At the very least, Detroit came out of it knowing this. They had a face of the franchise, a cornerstone, someone you could build around. If last season was his breakout all-star, all-NBA playoff appearance, then this season is something bigger. Cade's on-court flow is smooth and constant. He doesn't dominate the ball unless the moment demands it. He creates advantages without forcing them. Watch him run a pick and roll. It's the timing, the patience, the restraint. He lets the play develop. He reads the defense and makes the right decision, even if that means giving up a good shot for a great one. That's the difference between a scorer and a floor general. Cade is both. He's played point guard his entire 4-year NBA career, despite being an elite scorer. But this season, his passing has jumped to another tier entirely. The numbers tell the story. He averaged 5.6 assists as a rookie, 6 in his injury-shortened sophomore year, 7.5 in 23-24, then a jump to over 9 assists per game while leading Detroit to a playoff berth. And he's still averaging 9+ this season too. But he's not just facilitating. Cunningham is posting career highs in points per game, steals, blocks, and three-pointers made. He's impacting the game everywhere. His rise mirrors the Pistons' return to relevance. Last season, they surpassed their wins total from the previous 2 seasons combined. Now, they're staring at something that once felt impossible, becoming the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. Cade strops topside, fires for 3, and it's through. Count that, baby. And a foul, a chance for a 4-bagger. Cade Cunningham had already proven he could score. Now, he's proven something far more dangerous. He can control the game and run a real-deal contender at an MVP level. He's almost certainly not going to win the award this season, not with Nikola Jokic, who is having another historic season, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having an arguably better season than his MVP season last year. The voting is what it is, but Cade has officially forced his way into the conversation. According to Fox Sports, Cunningham has the 3rd best MVP odds at a +800. Cunningham was named Eastern Conference Player of the Month for November and is averaging 26.7 points, 6.2 rebounds, 9.7 assists, and 1.5 steals per game, all while shooting slightly worse than last season. And that's the scary part. If his efficiency ticks up even slightly, Cade has a real chance to become just the 8th player in NBA history to average at least 28 points and 9 assists over a full season. The impact is undeniable. When Cade is on the floor, the Pistons are 9.9 points better compared when he sits. He also leads the team in minutes by a wide margin at 35.6 per game. No one else even cracks 30. Detroit runs through him. Everything flows from Cade. His teammates feel the weight he carries. Isaiah Stewart said, "When you're the head of it, you got a lot of responsibility." He shows up for us every single game. That's a lot on his shoulders, but he's built for it. That mindset didn't change after Detroit's 6-game first-round loss to New York. Cunningham wasn't content with simply making the playoffs, 1 year removed from the worst season in franchise history. He understands they want a championship out of this, so he went back to work. Cade rewatched the entire playoff series and the final 28 games of the regular season, taking notes on where he could be more efficient without losing his aggression. Most 24-year-olds would have taken a vacation after dragging a franchise out of the basement. Cade grabbed the film and started studying. The numbers already told a strong story. Last season, Cunningham made his first All-Star team, finished 7th in the NBA in scoring at 26.1 points per game and 4th in assists at 9.1. In the playoffs, he nearly averaged a triple-double against the Knicks, 25 points, 8.7 assists, and 8.8 rebounds. But Cade focused on the gaps. He shot 17.9% from 3 in the postseason.
What makes Cade Cunningham's rise even more compelling is that it doesn't rely on flash or noise. There's no manufactured storyline around him, no forced branding, no viral persona driving the hype. His case is built almost entirely on substance, on film, on impact. And that's exactly why executives, coaches, and players across the league take him seriously. Opposing scouting reports now revolve around one central problem. There is no simple coverage for Cade. Trap him early, and he dissects it with passes. Switch smaller defenders, and he bullies them in the mid-post. Play drop coverage, and he calmly walks into rhythm pull-ups. Stay home on shooters, and he finishes through contact. The Pistons don't just rely on him to score. They rely on him to solve problems in real time. That's the hallmark of an elite offensive engine. What separates Cunningham from many young stars is that his control doesn't disappear under pressure. Late-game possessions don't speed him up. He doesn't hunt hero shots to pad stats. He hunts the best possible outcome. That's why Detroit's clutch efficiency has risen so sharply. It's not just Cade making shots, it's Cade organizing chaos. Around the league, players talk about this quietly. They notice how he manipulates pace, how he walks defenders into screens, how he pauses just long enough to force help before delivering the pass. These are veteran skills, not fourth-year habits. Most players learn this after years of playoff battles. Cade learned it while losing, while carrying expectations, while playing under the weight of a franchise desperate for relevance. And that context matters. Not every star who puts up numbers on a bad team learns how to win. Some develop bad habits, some lose defensive focus, some learn how to score without learning how to lead. Cade learned the opposite. He learned accountability. He learned patience. He learned how to stay present when nothing around him worked. Detroit's front office recognized that growth and adjusted accordingly. Instead of asking Cunningham to save the franchise alone, they built a structure that amplified his strengths. Spacing improved, defensive assignments became clearer, roles were defined. That allowed Cade to move from survival mode into command mode. The leap didn't come from a single skill improvement. It came from everything aligning. Now the Pistons play with purpose. They don't panic when runs happen. They don't splinter in late-game moments. When things break down, the ball finds Cunningham, and everyone knows why. That kind of trust doesn't come from speeches. It comes from consistency. The MVP discussion, whether Cade wins or not, is almost secondary to what's really happening. He's becoming one of the league's decision-makers, the kind of player whose presence dictates how games are played, not just how highlights look. Those players don't come around often. History shows that when guards reach this level of control, championships usually follow. Not immediately, not without resistance, but eventually. Because basketball at the highest level is about leverage, and Cade Cunningham has leverage everywhere on the floor. Detroit's ceiling is no longer theoretical, it's visible. And the Eastern Conference understands that this version of the Pistons isn't ahead of schedule. This is the schedule. Cade Cunningham didn't arrive overnight. He was built in losses, shaped by pressure and sharpened by responsibility. And now that the foundation is set, the league is seeing what happens when talent, maturity, and opportunity finally intersect. This isn't a breakout. This is establishment.